Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to build our first API with Postgres and SQLite. In the previous video, I have showed you how to build up your working environment. If you haven't done it yet, you can go back to my previous video and install everything, all the tools we need. I want to show you my website again. So my website can add product to the cart and add product to the wish list. Also, you can sign up as a client or Atom. There's a demo for demo user. If you want to check out the website, you can go there and explore the website. Okay, let's get started on coding. Open a folder that you want to build your project in and create a folder with the project name in there. Make sure it's under the right folder. All the files will be created and saved in this folder. So let's first check all those tools if we have installed them all. Check the node and npm, git, and Heroku. I like use Visual Studio Code. It's so convenient. The terminal you can just use in the software. You don't have to open the Windows command. Okay, let's create our package. Use npm init and it. So you need to put some information in there for the package. So I just use the server name. The entry point is the index.js. We're not using Git right now. It's pretty simple. So in the folder, you will, in the file, you will see some information. Now let's create an index.js file. We need to import some modules. We need to import some files first. So we'll use the Express web framework for load. Then we're going to import body parser for client request body and cores for routes. And we'll initialize app for the global entry point or API entry point for the server. I'll create a port. So port has two parts. One is the hosting port that your server provide, or a local 5000 port. So let's add all those middleware in our app. So we create a static file entry point for accessing our static files. Next, we're gonna listen to the port that we just created. Let's add a route to test if the server is working. So you should see hello world. Just remember to install all those modules we just imported. Otherwise, they're not working. You can install them all. Usually I install after I import it because I don't remember everything I used in there. Let's run the server again. Let's check the browser. You can see hello world there. Next step, let's create an environment file. It will save all those database connection information to build connection pool or connection. You remember we talked about in the previous video when we set up our working environment, how to install Postgres. Those information is all in the video. To make sure all those information is correct, otherwise will be error. We can't connect to our database. For the database secret, I will talk about it later. So for the JSON token. Let's create a database config file. So we need to create a connection and import those local environment database information in this file. First, I want to check globally if there's a database there already. If there's not, then we're gonna create our connection. Let's import or SQLize first the data object mapper for Postgres. You can use it for many different databases. You can go to their website to check all the information you need. Let's create a SQLize. We initialize some variables we're gonna assign values to later, because we need to check two situations. One is when we're running locally, the connection will be different. When you're hosting online, the connection will be different. So I'll create this connection string just specially for the local database. So when we run it, it will automatically connect to the database locally. So our website is gonna eventually host on Heroku, so we need to consider the situation that when we're hosting it, the server will provide a different URL, database URL. So for the first if statement, we're gonna check if the server taking the server database from the Heroku. So if they're using their database URL, I'm gonna create a different connection and assign to the SQLize that we just initialized earlier. So we're assigning it to the SQLize. There's many ways to create a connection. You can just simply use connection string, or you can set up a lot options in there. You can go to their website and check all those options you want to use. So I will define that what type of database I use. So it's Postgres. I follow the Postgres protocol. Then I set the login, so when they run the server, we will see some login information, access to the database. You can design the pool connection too, so to limit how many connection should have in the same time, or in 10 minutes, how long you're gonna stay connected to the database. So if it's not running on the server or online, wherever in the situation, so we just connect to our local database. Put our SQLize and the database connection SQLize into the database DB variable. Then in the end, we should export this DB so we can use in the other file. Save the file, remember? So next we're gonna create some model like a schema. Using Mongoose to create a schema for Mongodb. So first we're gonna import ByScript. It's for hash your password. So it's for safety. When you save the password in the database, this will hash the password, so nobody know what the password is, even the database administrator. So first let's export the module and use our two parameters to define our model. All the information you can find on SQLize website. They have a document to explain everything. So now first we're gonna We should build our attributes first. It also has data type and constraints you can use. There's so many of them. I didn't use all of them, or you can, if you want to get more complicated, you can go to their website and check more information. So for the second part, that's the option. You can actually add like instant methods to handle some situations for this model. I use the table name, so it will show in the database what's like. So in the database, there will be clients instead of client. I use hooks to hash our code, so before it creates, so when we're creating our password, creating our client, the password will be automatically hashed before it is saved to the database. So outside the model, I'm going to create an instant method. I don't know why you can't create inside the option, but it works outside. I feel like the SQLites, they don't like it to build their instant method inside the option somehow, but outside it works. So this part is the method is to decode the passcode so you can compare them when the user log in. So in the config file, we need to add the model to the file. And in the end, save them. So I'm gonna install another software. It's a node.js. It's a very convenient model we use because it will automatic cycling the changes in the when we're building website. So you don't have to constantly restart the server to test it. So it will automatic cycling the changes and update everything. If there's error, it will show the error, so you can go to the file and fix the errors. Let's create a controller folder and build a client controller to handle all the client requests. We need to import our database and also the model that we just created. We're also gonna import the JSON web token. We're not gonna use it right now. We will use it later in the video, maybe or in the future. Okay, my purpose here, we're gonna create all client method function to display all the clients from the database. I use the try catch block to catch all the problems so the server won't crash. Create a constant client and to grab all the clients in the database. See, it's so easy. Just use client.fetall if you use the query. Just so much work. So the situation, if you don't have clients, just tell the user there's no client. If there's client, and send it back to the client, to the user. Any small errors gonna have problem. You can see the file is red. There's an error. You need to be very careful for little things. Maybe just a comma. Let's comment the JSON token first. So the errors there, no user found there. All working now. Next, let's create a route folder. We're gonna import the controller to the route to build a route for client. We're gonna import the express so we can use their router there. I like to separate everything so it's easy to check the errors and find the error. So we're gonna use get all clients, make sure the function is the correct. In the end, you need to export the router so you can import into the index file. So let's import it as a client route. Let's create a global entry point for this client route. Just remember we need to install everything. So we actually used Circleize. We need to install PG, so the database, they can't detect the database. We haven't installed anything. So we're gonna install the database. First we need to find the information of the database. So we need to install the .env. There's still problem. When I was writing it, I have to from the air. The one thing about the Nodeman is you know what's going on, so you just find what's going on, then install everything you need. The error will eventually go away. But you really need to install PG is for Postgres. Bycrypt. It automatic synchroning all those errors. You really need to make sure all those database information is correct. Let's go to the browser to check look at the Circleize. So after you build the model, you need to synchronize it. So when they will check if the database has this model in there or not. So after I put the code in there, you will see it will show you that in the console. See if the client's already in the database or not. So I already put some information, one client in there already. So let's use this route we just built to check if we can get all the clients in there. Make sure it's spelled right. Otherwise, we will never get it right. Okay, it's working. You see, that's what I had in the database. Next, let's go to the controller, create a register client method. So Circleize is a promise-based Node.js object relation map. So I use async and await in the function. I check if the email or password are empty or not. But when we build the website in the front end, I might check it already. So, but we'll just do it right now here. So we just use fat1 to make sure the email is not existing in the database because it's unique. We don't want duplicated email address for login. So if there's no email existing in database, we're gonna create a new client. If there's one, we need to tell the user that you're already registered. It's pretty simple. Just use client.create to save the new client to the database. For now, we just console log all the errors because we just want to check the error right now in the console. In the future, we can show it in the front end, tell the client some type of error or some instruction for a user to handle the error. So I made a mistake here, use model. It's a function, it's not a model. That's working. Okay, next let's add the route and the function to the router so we can register client. That's all we need to do. It's the layout is there. We just keep adding more functions and it will work. So we're gonna use Google's advanced REST API test to do the testing for the register client and API. So I check the get message for the all clients is working. Now we're gonna use it to test the register client API. We just create the body and use exactly what you used in the register client method. That is a different errors there when if there's already have a client in there, so the emails will be duplicated. We'll show you all the clients already registered. I will test it if the password is matched, and if the match will tell you the password is not matched. So and then we'll just register this client, see if it works. So it's successfully registered in our database. Let's check the database. It's there. It's working. We can use this API now. Okay, that's all we're gonna talk today. In the next video, we're gonna build the front end to call the RESTful API and create a client form to use this API, see if it works in the database. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you so much. If you like